creatures from the world of the undead.
The most bizarre.
Devil worship, Satanism, black magic, or witchcraft. Zodiac killer.
All lights go out and the monsters are released from their coffins.
Now, prepare yourself for the most gruesome and grotesque experience of them all. The Creep-O-Rama.
Feet up, right? So it looks like it's just two coats that are hanging there. But even just something so subtle like that, which is a quote unquote stunt, you know. But I just remember like, oh, that was so fucking cool.
But
it's like
I
thought you were about to say that they'd hung themselves.
They just hung
be like,
fucking
Jesus, man.
here's the
they
thing,
just killed themselves in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
It's the 20s, so like, how did they do it? They didn't have fucking harnesses and all the fucking safety shit. They probably almost did hang themselves.
Yeah,
probably.
Or just, they all wore suspenders back then, right? They probably just
of course.
Johnny, suspenders are the backbone of the special effects industry,
right?
yeah.
I think we should all just take a moment and really appreciate Josh's mustache.
Because he's mustaching right
he
now.
He said
hard.
like 3 words since he came in this call, and I've just been like being like, "You have to." Derek's talking. Don't stare at the stash.
Yeah.
I was gonna trim it, and then I was like, "We're doing the Nosferatu episode. I gotta save it for that at least." So it's rough. Sorry,
like
the garbage trucks are right outside my fucking window again. So if it sounds like a building is collapsing behind me. They were like, "Oh, you hit record? Let's throw together some fucking steel drums."
But
thank you. Yeah, I was gonna say, James is wearing a Nosferatu hat. Justin's got an Eggers the Witch hoodie. I've got the mustache. Derek's the only one not wearing something related to
Derek
the
represents the
film
audience.
being discussed. Right. Okay.
So I wanted to start this off with Derek. Because this is the first time he's seen it. All 3 of us have seen it. Josh's mustache has
multiple
seen
times now. Yeah. Josh's mustache saw it 3 times on its own.
Yeah, he lived it. But this is the first time Derek has seen this movie. I really am curious as to why this is a 4-star movie and not a 4.5 star, or at least a 5-star, Derek. Because whenever you said last night in our text message, I'm trying to decide if it was a 1/2 star or a full star. I was thinking 4.5, 5 star. And then whenever I saw your rating 4 star, I was kind of let down.
I automatically went to, he hates this movie. It's a 1 star or a 1/2 star.
Yeah, I assumed he was only going to give it half a star.
No, I didn't think you were joking. I thought you genuinely hated this
movie.
movie.
I knew it was going to be up there. But
how could it not be?
I fully
It's against the law for it not to be.
Yeah, I fully expect a 5 star.
Okay. Well, I know you first logged at 4.5. Okay. James first logged at 4. Yeah. And now I'm getting all the hate for logging at 4.
Yeah, okay. I upped it to 5 last night. I upped it to 5.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad that we both stalk each other's letterboxes.
I have one reason why it's not a 5 star for me, and it's so stupid.
So stupid? What is
so
it?
Stupid.
Do you want us to guess?
No,
stupid reason why it lost half a star.
No. The mustache honestly gives it an extra star. It should be 5 stars just because of the mustache.
Yeah.
This is so dumb. It's just because whenever the fucking the carriage pulls up, there's no driver, and I really wanted to see Eggers' take on what a fucking like demon driver would be, because there's that fucking shot in Bram Stoker's Dracula where he reaches and it just reaches for like a minute. I mean, it's not a minute, but like it's abnormal reach distance.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
That
for sure.
really fucks me up. And then this time, because I watched it in the theater and I don't remember anything because I was just like, wah. But this time I was like, I was waiting for like close, and I know that's probably why he didn't do it, is because it's in Bram Stoker's.
And the driver in Bram Stoker's Dracula, the helmet is so fucking
and
cool.
he's like covered in like feathers and shit.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a weird dude.
So that's a 1/2 star.
Why would you hire that
Can't
dude?
beat that.
Yeah,
the driverless carriage knocked it down a bit.
Star.
Full star.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a sucker for a good creepy carriage driver, bro.
Yeah.
So what was your fucking issue, Derek.
Excuse.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you give it an A and not an A plus? It's still an A. Like, I think it's still a good movie.
Those 5 points matter, Derek.
I would say, and I don't want to open up on like what I didn't like about it, but I guess we'll do that.
Let's get it out of the way because the rest of
there's
it's
a lot
going to be
that
sucking his dick.
Like, I like the movie.
Yeah.
4 stars is a very high rating. I will say I feel
it's
like
the same rating you gave like 9 Jean-Claude Van Damme movies in the last couple months. So
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
I don't know if that raises it or lowers it.
Cyborg Nosferatu.
Wait, you gave Cyborg 4? Wait a minute.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
I enjoyed Bloodsport more. I'll say that. Like, I'll watch Bloodsport over that.
That's fair.
I mean,
I did give Bloodsport 5 stars. I think one criticism that stands out that I could think of right now would be I felt slightly underwhelmed by how he looked. And not that he looked bad. I don't think Skarsgård looked bad. I think actually he looked fucking phenomenal in terms of makeup and all that shit. I just thought, like, Max Schreck, I thought looks way fucking creepier. Like, that's a way, like, and then look, like, it's the first one, and it's 100 years ago too. So I don't know. I thought it was a weird take. Like, this whole thing about his mustache, like, I could take it or leave it. Like, I don't care that he had it. That doesn't put me off by any means.
Well, I think all the interviews that Eggers done, it was his attempt to go, okay, well, what would a 500-year-old Romanian dead guy, Count Prince guy really look like?
Yeah, right.
And also,
that's exactly what he would look like.
Let's take into account he's from Romania. It's cold. Maybe his upper lip is just fucking cold.
Well, yes, but also Dracula had a mustache in the book, so I think
right. Yeah, but
a nod to
you
that
had,
as well.
But you could only read that mustache. You couldn't
Transylvanian
see
Lord
it.
would have looked like.
Right.
Yeah. And he finally let us see it. This is him.
Right.
Right.
Finally.
Saw more than the mustache.
I mean, and Skarsgård was barely recognizable. Like, you can't even tell it's him until the last scene. I feel like, okay, I could see him there, because they actually fully show him.
I felt like in that last scene was the moment where I was like, man, I can't, like, all the fucking effects, all the fucking prosthetics and shit that they put on him. I was like, they really made him not look like Skarsgård.
Oh yeah. I felt like he got lost in this role, like within all of that, on the same level that Heath Ledger did in Dark Knight. Like, I watched both of those characters. I can't see the actor beneath those characters.
Right.
I think for Skarsgård, it's also obvious. The obvious comparison is It, like the first chapter. It, like, bro, like he is Pennywise at that point. That's just his thing. He's just really able, which I don't know what that says about him, but he's just really able to inhabit these fucking monsters.
Loves fucking murdering kids.
He's
really good at it.
He really murdered the shit out of some kids in this one.
But no, also what I loved is that they didn't show any of the behind the scenes stuff until months after the movie had come out. Because if you had seen like the teasers and the makeup and like what he went through for this character, then it takes you out of it.
Yeah.
I had no idea what he was going to look like until last night when I watched it. Like, I still had
I'm glad that was a surprise for me.
Yeah. Well done. Because it's fucking all over the internet now.
Yeah.
I follow way too many special effects artists. So when they were like starting to like ramp up for it, right before it came out, a couple of them started putting out because they'd worked on it. And I was like, oh, motherfucker. I didn't want to know anything.
Yeah, I think you had it. We both had it ruined literally the day before we went and saw it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's on us. We should have went and seen it opening day.
Yeah. So anyway, Derek, what it is. So his look.
Yeah,
I
felt a little,
and that Thomas didn't have a Jackson played by Donald Gibb is the other reason why he didn't give it a half star. That's why Bloodsport got 5 stars, is because he had Jackson in his corner.
That makes sense.
It does.
That makes sense. Bro, could you just imagine fucking Nosferatu, and then like, so you get to Nosferatu's castle, and he like, you know, leads you in, and then he disappears, and then fucking Jackson just comes out and serves you food. Hey man,
Let's go
Hey, man, how's it going? Yeah.
Yeah, you want to come upstairs and play video games in a little bit?
Yeah. Aren't we in a castle?
And then Orlok's just like, yes, do my bidding, my minion, play video games.
Okay, enough fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme.
What if instead of Nicholas Hoult,
It's
Jean-Claude Van Damme pin kicks Nosferatu?
You've broken my hip.
You've broken my hip.
God damn it.
You hit me so hard.
I can't walk. God damn it. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
I also gave one 4 stars on first viewing, and I raised it after repeat viewings. So I get it, Derek. After a couple more times, you might throw another half star on there.
Yeah.
You just got.
I'd like to rewatch it
2-3 more times.
But again, I mean, I like the movie. just because I didn't give it 100%.
Yeah.
What do you mean you like the movie, motherfucker?
But you didn't like it enough for our.
You didn't like it enough.
Why
I really
isn't
thought
it
you
your
were going to
favorite
like
movie?
this. I really thought you were going to like it.
I will
Did
say
you
this-
watch?
Oh, you go first.
I was just going to ask real quick. Did you guys watch the extended or the regular theatrical cut?
I watched the extended, but
Okay.
I never watched the
Okay.
so I don't know what was different about it.
Okay, gotcha. It really
It's
wasn't
only like
much.
4
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
just a
wasn't
couple
much.
minutes. You haven't seen the extended cut, right, Josh?
No, I've
okay.
only seen the theatrical cut so far.
Okay, gotcha.
I didn't even know I was watching the
can
extended cut until
spoil it, though.
Yeah, it was more just dialogue stuff.
Yeah.
Just certain scenes that were just extended just a little bit to the point where it didn't really.
It didn't.
I mean, it all
change
flowed.
anything.
Yeah, it really it
Yeah.
all flowed. I didn't notice anything that was out like totally new.
It's pretty dialogue heavy as it is.
Yeah.
If they're just adding
Right.
a few more.
Right.
Yeah.
It was more.
There was a little bit in the first scene where him and Nicholas Hoult are like meet and are talking in the kitchen. There's a little bit that laugh I don't think was in the original.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was him talking about the Romani people that were outside in the little village. And like he gives a little more context about how weird their customs are and shit like that. And then he unleashes this fucking laugh that is so unnerving.
Yeah.
And why would they cut that?
I don't know. I thought it was fucking great. But yeah, so there really wasn't that much. But yeah, I was just curious if you guys.
I like the fact that while he's the village people there and they're speaking a language that he does not speak.
Right.
So there was no like them warning him to not go to the castle.
Right.
Like in the other stories of Dracula that are so like don't go, and he's like just not listening to them and just goes. He's just like, I don't know what the fuck these people were saying.
And I love that Eggers took the like not a risk, but like you as a viewer know what they're saying.
Right.
So like it's not an alien like othering of them. It's like, no, you fully know what they're saying.
Yeah.
So then when Holt clearly is like, I don't know, fucking what are you talking about? You're like, oh no, like but now you as a viewer know that you know something that he doesn't know, and you know where this is going.
I was wondering, and I wondered this the first time and the second time and the last time, watching
a wondering motherfucker over here.
Yeah. So he goes, he pays the innkeeper with a little bag of gold, and then he witnesses them leading the girl on the horse to the vampire's grave. They kill the vampire. He goes to sleep. Well, time passes. He wakes up, and then everybody's gone. Later, when Orlok pays Thomas for his services, he pays him using the same little baggie of gold that Thomas gives the innkeeper. It's the exact same leather pouch.
Are we sure it's the same one, or is it
the last two times I've watched it? It is the same leather pouch that he hands him.
Maybe he killed
So-
Cody and took
be?
it.
I don't know, but
Yeah,
I
just
mean the
saving
whole
money on the prop department.
the whole
No,
Was that
maybe.
was that leather
Yeah, I
pouch
don't
like the
know.
iPhone of leather pouches in
I
that?
don't
Because
know.
everyone
Yeah,
just
maybe.
fucking had one.
Right.
I don't know, maybe, but the
Oh,
whole
like I got a brown leather wallet. Do you have a brown leather wallet? You know,
I
Yeah,
do
I
have a
don't
brown
know.
leather wallet.
So, but
I have
my
a neon
question,
green snakeskin wallet. Sorry.
but my question was, did all of those people bounce, or did Orlok kill all of them in the night?
right.
If we're going based off of that's the same pouch, then he killed everybody. But if
Yeah.
it's not, then I think that they left because fucking Nicholas Hoult is able to fucking dream walk into whatever their fucking little ritual was, and like they saw him clearly. So they
that was the only scene in the movie where I was kind of like, okay, what? Like, I mean, obviously he saw them, but then he just wakes up. So was he dreaming, or did they, I don't know, fucking knock
it's
him out?
both. I think it's both. I think that
Yeah, he wasn't dreaming because that's why he looked at his feet and you saw
Right.
that his feet were
Yeah.
caked with
Right.
mud, like he was
well, I
sleepwalking.
mean that gets into like dream walking and shit like that, where like
Yeah.
that gets into the whole magic side of this, where
I
like
mean, he does
he's-
panic a lot in this movie, so maybe he just had a panic attack. It was just like,
Well,
and
I
then passed
think
out.
that as he's so close to the source now that like there's just a magical place, and like when he goes to sleep, he's stressed out, so that makes him vulnerable to not having control over his shit. Which I mean, he doesn't know what the fuck
Maybe.
he's doing anyways magically. So, but
Well, he's getting
Yeah.
fed on as he's sleeping too. There's
Well, not
that
yet.
whole-
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, not yet.
not at
Yeah.
this
'Cause he-
point. He doesn't have
wasn't-
the bite
Yeah.
marks yet.
Right. Which super awkward. Just
What do you mean?
super awkward to just, what do you mean? To just have a 500-year-old dead guy just fucking grinding like dick and all, just on you, just sucking at your heart. Just
Yeah.
fucking.
I do
hey
like
man,
that.
Anna Nicole Smith made it work.
Change.
Yeah,
that change of not going after the neck but going after the chest is an interesting.
Well,
I will
change up.
say it makes less sense because like the blood flow from the chest, that area, yes, it's closer to the heart, but it's
Yeah.
not like a stronger
A
blood
vein.
flow than the fucking like your neck.
Yeah.
But that- I
Yeah,
guess
but
the
it's
way
easier to
the-
hide, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe. Well,
which is weird though, because in Nosferatu, where one of the big differences from Dracula, if I don't know if I have this 100% accurately, but Nosferatu never made anybody a vampire,
Right. Yeah.
right.
right?
He just,
Like, doesn't he?
okay, so in this one, right, he just drains
Right.
people. In
Right.
the original, I don't even think he really like drains.
Well,
people.
hold on. He made the vampire that's in the coffin in the graveyard. That's obviously somebody that he's connected with. How else would that person have been a vampire?
How is he a vampire?
Well,
how are
that's-
vampires?
Well, so here's the thing.
How are vampire?
How are vampire?
I've got a whole theory that he's like way more than a vampire. He's not just a
Well,
vampire.
we could get
He's
into we could get into
he's a
that. in minute,
demonic
yeah.
entity that create that. If I mean, I think that that's the whole point of the movie is that he is not only possessing her and sexually assaulting her via fucking ghost,
Right.
but also the whole point of why he's obsessed with her is that he wants to drain her to make her like him and then live forever, or and this gets real weird, like this isn't in the movie, none of this is in the movie because it's purposely vague, but maybe he's trying to possess her body because he's so fucked.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I
All
think
good
in order to make the vampires, you have to fully drain them. And I don't think he necessarily wants to make vampires because
I think
they're
he's
powerful.
he's killing people when he's fully draining them. Like he kills
Yeah,
the
yeah.
kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think
Oh, man.
because I know historically to like certain movies obviously all do it differently where it's like you bite somebody and you don't drain them, you just
Right.
transform them, whether you have like a venom or something, or it's you bite them and then you have them take some of your blood,
Right.
and then like that's how
Then they
like in Vampire
transfer.
in Brooklyn, he gives him some of his blood without biting him, and that's what turns him into a ghoul instead of
Oh, that's
a
right.
vampire.
And in interview, it's the same where you like, they have to
drink
them
from
the
me
blood.
and live forever.
Yeah, literally
so-
on top of the fucking shirt.
So maybe that's what they're hinting at Nosferatu is there are other vampires out there, but he has to like give them a piece of his blood or like permission to be a vampire. Or
I
maybe
think
he's
so.
just one of many, but he's the one that, I don't know, worked the hardest and became a mansion owning.
He really just
He's a
very
he's a
successful-
put in time.
Yeah,
He's a real vampire
success story.
bootstrapper. He's a new rock bootstrapper.
Yeah, he really put in the time and effort in order to really be Nosferatu.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he climbed.
People say
he climbed
Dracula was a
this-
fascist. This one's like a full-time capitalist. We appreciate that.
Exactly, exactly. He really worked at it. He put the time, built his fucking castle.
He
made
had
sure
people,
his wardrobe
he had people
on
build his
point.
castle for him,
Yeah,
but
for sure,
Yeah, he kind of takes care of himself. Like he does some grooming. He's got his mustache. Right?
Yeah,
he's like he
yeah,
shaves
exactly.
his face and shit.
Yeah, he kept
He
his
picks,
abs.
he picks,
Does
he
he
picks
still
the
even
flesh off
grow
of his legs.
Hair? Because the way Eggers described it was that he's been a long dead Transylvanian lord.
Right, yeah.
So
Right,
is that just what he looked like when he died? And then
or is
he's
he
just like
right?
every morning he wakes up and he's like, do I shave the mustache?
Yeah.
If I shave it, it won't grow back, and I might regret getting rid of it. So I keep
My
I
upper
keep the
lip will be
mustache,
so
yeah.
frosty.
I kind of wish I had a beard, and I died without beard. Now I never get beard.
And
So-
also the follicles, they just don't grow.
Fuck.
That's how I would interpret it. At least that's how I choose to
What
interpret
if?
it.
What if?
Or
he
he's
was
kind of like Joe Dirt. He's just so white trash that he doesn't
Yeah,
have
yeah, it
to
just
shave.
grows in like that.
that.
Well,
He's so Transylvanian.
Yeah.
Going back to
How Transylvanian is he?
what you were saying.
He's from Transylvania. He only grow mustache. Sorry.
Going back to what you were saying, Derek, of the how iconic Max Schreck is in the original Nosferatu. I was going into this the first time. I remember James and I talking. Like, I knew going into it, there was not a chance in hell that they were going to give me a version of Nosferatu that was going to make me like the way he looked more than the way I like Max Schreck, especially after 100 years. Of, you know, like his
follow.
Yeah, his imagery and the look of him in that original film is just, you can't fucking top it.
Yeah,
like it's just not possible.
No.
But I thought so. That's why I think that it was really interesting, and I really appreciate the fact that they tried to do something a little different.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and they did that different very well. Like he still
did
like
it.
the makeup's fucking like the scars, like the flesh that's like rotting and missing and shit all over his body.
Not only that, but I think that one of the things that Eggers has proven time and time again that he does phenomenally is historic accuracy and detail.
Oh yeah,
and like
that's his his MO. It's his specialty. Yeah.
So like it's cool going into it, like you said. Like I really wanted to see personally. I wanted to see Eggers' take on the Max Schreck look of Orlok, but also like I knew he wasn't going to. But I also didn't expect this, so I was kind of on the fence the first viewing. But this time I'm like, nah, it's perfect. It makes complete and total sense.
Yeah, I think so too.
Good dick too, right?
Good dick.
Yeah.
Although I do have a theory.
I kind of thought that it was going to be a little bit bigger.
Well, here's the thing.
He's a big man. He's a big man.
I think he's impotent.
It's cold.
I don't think his dick works because he doesn't fuck her.
He's dead.
Well, no, I know that, but I mean, I don't know if it works
mentally. Well, no, they have sex at the end.
No, they don't. They do not fuck.
I'm talking about.
He gets naked, he gets on top of her, and he starts fucking biting her.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
There's no thrusting. There's no fucking in that scene.
There's thrust. I think there's a bit of thrusting
he also,
going on.
yeah, but I mean, the same could be like he's definitely thrusting when he's fucking dry humping Thomas.
Yeah,
all
but
over
that's
the fucking
different.
castle.
But that's different.
Well,
it's dry humping. It's not penetration.
And that's what you do whenever you're sucking somebody's blood, apparently. So, it's just, I guess it's just involuntarily, that's just kind of what,
I think that's just how the suction works. You gotta
really put your back into it.
Yeah. It's like a pump. It's like a pump. It's like a water pump. Yeah.
To throw back
siphoning.
Yeah. You guys never siphoned gas out of a car? It's exactly like that.
Right. Yeah.
You just
you ever siphoned sex out of someone?
You ever siphoned semen out of a dick? Just like that.
One of the things I did see Eggers say or mention in an interview something about the choice between going from his neck or from showing him feed off of the neck versus the heart area was, and I don't think I'm misremembering this, but I'm almost positive he said that through his research into vampiric lore from way fucking back in the day, like hundreds of years ago, that's where...
Oh, I thought you meant for him. It's probably way back in the day for him, too. Like, whenever he was a kid, he started doing all this shit.
Oh, yeah, but like back, like the vampiric lore that he was able to find from sources of what people believed hundreds and hundreds of years ago, that's where vampires fed. Was over your heart.
Which, when you start like breaking down medical science for back then, makes complete sense. That's where your heart is. So you would automatically think that would be the easiest place to get blood from. But now that medical science has like progressed, now we're like, no, the neck is the best place.
Yeah, maybe either that or
the thigh, right?
Movie.
The thigh's really good.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wasn't the thigh's just a fun little excavation? You know what I'm saying?
Can you imagine just the last 100 years of vampire movies? They were just getting blood from thighs instead of necks.
I mean, there's got to be at least one X-rated parody out there that capitalizes on that, right?
Oh yeah.
It is funny. There was a buddy of mine did his Nosferatu review, and one of the comments was somebody pissed off. I wish I'd saved it. Somebody pissed off saying the movie sucked because he doesn't turn anybody into vampires. They don't kill them with wooden stakes, but with iron. And there was no big battle with Nosferatu at the end and something else. And I was like,
iron? Kill him with sun.
Well, you don't need, more on that in a moment. But I was like, I'm sorry, like, this isn't the MCU's Nosferatu.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Fucking big battle with him at the end.
That's an action film. That's not a gothic romance.
I know. I'm like, go watch fucking Dracula Untold or like the 40 other fucking Dracula action movies that have come out. If you want
get a good one.
But it was just like I'm looking into the details, and I was like, a lot of this is shit that wasn't historically vampire stuff until the movies told you that that's what happened. Right. And that's what's funny is you mentioned the sun thing. Dracula doesn't die by sunlight. He's like weakened by it, but he can still go out during the day. And when they talked about that with Eggers in a recent interview, he was like, no, it wasn't the sun that killed Orlok. It was the purity of dawn, because the fable or whatever, the legend says that he has to be back in his sarcophagus by the first cock crow, or the first
cockerel.
Cockerel. And because he wasn't
cockroll, sorry.
That's what I
joke.
I heard that we just saw his cockerel. Why are we worried about the first one?
I don't want to see his cockroll. That's a lot.
Yeah, put that thing away, bud.
But it's because he wasn't back in his
all the time.
Yeah, it's because he wasn't back in his sarcophagus in time. The sun, he would have been fine if he had gotten back to bed on time first.
So he just needed to go back to bed when the sun came up, and then like 5 minutes later he could get out and do whatever.
That's what I wonder. Is like, is he allowed just like a 20-minute nap, and then he can be like, all right, I did according to the rules. Now I can just fucking roam.
Yeah. So I haven't watched the original one in a while, but I do recall him walking around in the sunlight with his coffin, right? I remember him like he's got his coffin around. Which was an interesting one too. In this one, where he's not carrying his coffin in this version, or in the first one.
No, he's got his own Renfield character, whatever.
He's got his own not Tom Waits.
Yeah. Man, watching this this time, that actor who plays her
Canuck,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Hair-
what a good fucking job that guy did.
I just want to focus in on the fact that his name is Knock, but they keep calling him Canuck.
Yeah.
Right. Well, just accents.
I think he was my favorite in the movie. I mean, he was incredible.
Man, he was fucking good. What an intense performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fucking creepy.
And it's
it is wild how quickly it changed too. Because when you first meet him, he's just like, we've got a pretty wealthy guy who wants to buy a house, and I already talked him into buying this shithole, and you're gonna go do the paperwork. And you're like, okay, and you assume he's just gonna be this like. That's all you're going to see of this character.
He looks like Scrooge.
Oh, he's the boss that sent him off. Yeah, exactly. He looks like Scrooge.
I did exactly what I like.
And then they cut to him naked, using his own blood to carve this shit. And I was like, oh, what a hobby. All right.
Yeah. Which, the second and third time I noticed, because I never pick up on little things outside of really what the camera's really making you focus on until I watch it multiple times. But, the shot where they're showing the paperwork of the map, you see the sigil, or you see Orlok's sigil in the bottom corner, and then it's on the paper and blah blah blah. So should have picked that up right. That scene, but
I mean, so him and Willem Dafoe. Do I just get into the magic stuff now? Start getting into it, because him and Dafoe are the like. They're the representation of right hand path magic, where it's all about knowledge, and then he's the one that isn't pure of heart of the two of them. Right. So he goes fucking insane, and I don't know. I love that shit. Whereas Willem Dafoe is pure of heart, as pure of heart as he could be, and he goes insane in a different way. Yeah, it's a much more subtle. It's a long term insane. That
it's like he flew too close to the sun. It affected him.
The final shot. I think that the final shot of him in the movie actually backs that up, because the shot is him having just seen all this horrible fucking shit, and he's looking out the window backlit, so his body is black. And the sunlight is coming in, but in the mirror, you can see his face, which represents like him inside, his internal feelings and shit. And it's bathed in sunlight, and so like while he's been massively affected by all this fucked up shit he's seen, at least like inside he knows like, oh, it's real. Like this shit's real. And like I managed to fucking save shit, so I'm fucked up now. But I'm happy about it. I'm alright with it.
But happy ending overall.
I thought the way Eggers approached this movie and tied in really deep concepts like that,
really deep shit. There's so many notes I have.
Yeah, and because this really boils down to the whole careful what you wish for shit.
100%.
And
that's pretty much all of magic, honestly.
Right. Yeah. It was very deep, and I think it threw a lot of people off. I wonder, going through the reviews, especially on Letterboxd, maybe I'm wrong on this, but it feels like a lot of people misinterpreted a lot of this movie. And especially with like how the beginning starts, what she says, what the intent of it is, because the whole point is the intent. Like she doesn't know what she's awakening.
She's completely innocent and naive to any of this stuff, which is what makes her so powerful, which is what makes her be able to do any of it to begin with, because magic is backwards as fuck. Because like the less you know about it, the more powerful it is, but you have zero control over it because you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Whereas the more you know about it, the more control you could have over it, but the worse off you end up usually.
Right.
Because like if you know what you're doing, you know better.
Yeah.
But you're still going after it. So then it's like, okay, well, we're going to teach you a lesson.
And from her point of view, especially in the opening scene where she's supposed to be a teenager, you know, whenever she says, like, I'm looking at the opening script of her saying, come to me, a guardian angel, a spirit of comfort. And so it's like she's calling out to anything that's going to help her deal with the things that she's going through. But then she makes then she says spirit of any celestial sphere or sphere, anything. And then it's like, oh, you just fucked up.
Yeah,
as soon as
you make it open, then it's going to be open.
Yeah,
I mean, am I wrong in thinking this whole movie? First of all, it's about her. It's not about
for sure, 100%.
The whole movie is about her, and it's also.
I think it's actually a very pro-feminist movie, regardless of the fact that she's constantly sexually assaulted through it.
Yeah,
well, it's about women's sexuality and how. Yeah. Especially in that era of how strongly repressed and also feared it was. And
but also
she's sleepwalking. She's got too much blood. Way too much blood.
Even Defoe, who's like closer to knowing what's going on, is like, too much blood. It's like, no, that's her normal blood.
It's like, no, she's horny. Like, it's just, it's normal.
Well, that, or she's also being possessed. And fucked with, by a fucking undead zombie vampire guy. Like,
but why was that occurring in the first place?
What do you mean?
Well, why was she possessed? Like, why her?
Because she invited him
called
in.
out in the beginning.
Why did she invite him in?
She has that skill, and she didn't realize the power that she had because they talked about the things that she was doing when she was a kid.
They actually mention it later in the movie at one point. It's kind of an offhand comment, but apparently her dad was gone, and I think that plays into it a lot.
Yeah,
too.
I think she mentioned something about her losing her mom, and then she was lonely. So
her dad, he was still there, but he was so like he pushed her away. Right. So even though she was having, because the other thing is that it's implied that she is a lunatic, which is not a crazy person. Back then, it meant that you were controlled by the moon. Yeah.
But, I mean, whenever he says in heathen times, you would have been a priestess of Isis.
Right.
Like, she's a connected being. She has
The theory is, the concept or theory or whatever is that some people have seizures. They're just seizures.
Yeah.
Some people have seizures because they're connected to the moon. So it and also like menstruation and all that stuff kind of plays into it too. It's all science that they didn't understand yet, right? So, but her being a lunatic means that she's having seizures because she's connected to the moon, like David Lynch.
I was just going to say, didn't David Lynch say he was connected to the moon?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I'm connected to the moon. But so she was having seizures and stuff before that, and I think what happened was that her dad was like, I don't know what the fuck to do with you. Plus your mom's gone and you remind me too much of her, probably. So then she's going through all this terrible shit. She has no idea what's going on. And it's actually her power. I hate saying that because it sounds like some MCU shit. But like her powers are coming in, and not knowing that, and clearly not having anybody around to explain that, she then is desperate for something to be like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, help me. Yeah. And
she's an isolated
one, which could also just be like another metaphor, is like a woman developing and not having the right support or knowledge of what's happening with her body, and then 100%. A man taking advantage of that.
Yeah, for sure.
When she misinterprets. Yeah, like so.
And I feel like it could be taken even further in that his taking advantage of him has some ulterior motive that maybe wasn't brought up in the movie, because like clearly he wants to use her power for something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because I was wondering that too.
I feel like maybe he was dead whenever she reached out to him.
That was my other question.
And that she like Freddy Kruegered him.
Yeah, because like he says that she basically awakened him.
Yeah.
So was he dead? Was he just?
I think it was just his energy.
Yeah, Maybe she like breathed new life into him in some way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he was just hanging out in a coffin for, maybe he went into like hibernation mode. Maybe he just got bored, tired. So he's like, I'm just going to pass the fuck out for a couple hundred years.
Well, there's also, you know what I just thought of is that it's not only her, it's also that Canuck dude, because he's trying to find something, obviously, and he taps into to Orlok. How, I don't know how, because they don't show his like
they don't show his
path,
journey.
but like,
no,
does he, or does Orlok seek him out because he's close to?
I think it's kind of a both situation where
maybe
like Orlok's energy is searching for somebody to help him, and Canuck is searching for whatever fucking mystical shit whatever beyond the veil type shit he's fucking looking for. And again,
we are speculating though, right? Because they don't show any.
It's a lot of speculation based on my magic knowledge and what's shown in the movie. So it's definitely
because they never really explain
not enough
his connection was.
But it just has to be some weird coincidence that the woman Orlok is trying to get to is married to a guy who works for the dude that's Orlok's right hand man, doing all this like mystical shit. So that there's got to be some sort of explanation behind there.
But I think a lot of people, like, it really bothers me, and maybe other people listening to this would be like, you just don't fucking understand the movie. I don't know. I don't really care. But there's so much discourse and dialogue about this film, about her journey through the movie, of her wanting to be with Orlok, or her being in love with Orlok, or her being infatuated with him, or her even being, I don't know, drawn to it in a way where she likes it, but she doesn't want to like it, and she's conflicted. I watched this the third time. I watched this the second time with all of this in my head, because I was like, that just doesn't make any sense. That's not what I took from this movie. And then watched it the third time. I wrote down almost every bit of dialogue that she has and converses with Orlok. And she seems like she fucking hates the motherfucker.
Bro, she says, like, I felt you in my body wriggling like a snake. That's like a serpent. That's not a positive thing.
Like,
that's a bad, you don't want that. And then she also calls him a fucking villain for lying to her. Like, you lied to me about what you were from the beginning. Like,
she says you're incapable of love, and he says, I'm just an appetite.
Yeah, exactly. Then, that's the thing, is like,
and then he gets mad at her and goes, well, fuck you then. I'm just going to torment you into agreeing to be with me.
Yeah. Like, you have 3 days to volunteer to consent to be my girl. And if you don't, I'm just going to murder everyone you care about.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's not romantic.
Just the shittiest high school ex-boyfriend,
basically,
ever. Like, I'm going to kill myself if you don't love me.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
What were you going to say, Derek? And I think a lot of, because a lot of the discourse that I saw on TikTok of people talking back and forth about this movie, where they kept going back to the line where she says, does evil come from within us or beyond, as indicator of going, see, she knows she's wrestling with darkness, in the sense of like she's wrestling with being drawn to him and all these things. And it, like, I mean,
maybe on a certain level, but
watching it this time, it felt as if it was, it's almost like whenever she says to Thomas later in the movie, get away from me, I'm unclean.
Yeah, dude, she's afraid that she's the problem. But and she's like, she is second guessing it, because that's the whole, like, he's fucking seduced her. Which isn't,
I mean, could you imagine what that would have been like? Like,
you have a fucking voice in your head that keeps giving you orgasms.
And it happens to be a giant monster, and it happens every time you go to fucking sleep. And, like I would go nuts too.
She's terrified that she's the reason that all this bad shit is happening. But also it's her acknowledging, like, she feels like it's something else. She feels like it's something outside and beyond the world. Like, but of course, no matter who she asks that to, other than like Defoe, no one's gonna fucking understand what the fuck she's talking about.
Yeah, you got too much blood.
Yeah, you got too much blood in you. What are you talking about?
Defoe knows what he's talking about. He's seen some shit. He's seen some shit that would make Isaac Newton crawl back into his mom's womb.
It's such a good line. But like, he
says it with such like,
Also, I love that she's got too much blood in her. We better put this fucking corset on her so she sleeps in it.
Right?
That'll help.
Yeah. You got to fix the posture to stop sleepwalking.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Come on.
She's just
you don't know that?
upright, like walking through the halls.
Yeah, but it was also like I wanted to, especially reading reviews on Letterboxd, I just kept thinking like, did you guys all miss the scenes of her where she's literally being possessed? Like, there's the first time that that it shows her being possessed when Willem Dafoe's character is after he shoves the needle through her hand or through her wrist. Yeah, that's a little excessive. You could have just pricked her hand or something. Like, stabbed it. But,
really had to drive home the point there.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
This girl.
That was Defoe's character, right?
Yeah. He's like, check this out.
He's the one that the whole time is like, I will not hurt her.
Hold on, let me just come on. But she has like a total Evil Dead moment.
Yeah.
Where, where she goes in that whole dialogue and is like, you're, I forget, I didn't write down exactly what she said. But it's like
where she sticks her tongue out and shit.
Right.
And
it's like, it's like, dude, like this is straight out of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
But I don't really see anybody acting, or like, I don't know. I feel like that was like lost. It's very, I don't know. It's very, very weird.
This is going to be maybe not as controversial as I think it's going to be, but I do think that now I don't know who specifically wrote these comments. Are they mostly
half
dudes?
the internet? No,
are they?
No, none of them are. Actually,
that's where this gets difficult because I do think that there's a certain amount of dudes that are just like, sweet, that'll justify me being a dickhead now.
Yeah,
but also like, I don't know, man. I think it's just honestly,
wait, what justifies being a dickhead?
Just like, oh well, Nosferatu. Like, I think that they come at it from an angle of them shitty dudes specifically trying to justify their own behavior based
they
off
misinterpret it as like a weird welcome kink, and it's like, no, girls
like,
don't want they just think Skarsgård's hot and the movie is pretty. Like, don't think for a second
like, I do
what he's
think
doing
that
is okay.
I know plenty of chicks that want to fuck a corpse, but I don't think that they would actually fuck a corpse when
I would hope not. It's illegal.
I mean, corpse. I know a lot of monster fuckers.
Yeah, a lot of monster fuckers.
What I appreciate is the amount of women who
9:30 on a Monday
watch this movie and we're like, no, it's Harding and his wife. That's the kind of love you actually want in a relationship, like the way that Aaron Taylor Johnson is just obsessed with his wife.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, that's a more appropriate, like almost to a fault, obviously, because he's a dick to Lily Rose later.
Yeah.
And but yeah,
I'm not sure that there's a single actually like positive and healthy relationship in this movie.
I don't know. I thought women,
they seem pretty in love in bed together, and that's another theory is why she's the first one that Orlok took, was like, oh, well, if that's how it's going to be, then on the first day, I'm getting her out of the way.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Well, I thought they were just really close friends. Lifelong friends.
Yeah, they were roommates.
Yeah. But I mean, you got to.
Were they roommates?
You got to give it up to Aaron's character. I don't remember his name. I mean, he really loved his
Harding,
wife.
right?
Yeah, Harding. I mean, he really. I mean, when you lose your wife and then you have to fuck her dead body, like that's love. Because it hurts so bad.
See, a lot of necrophilia in this movie.
I understand it. I'm not going to say I would, but
then you're not dedicated enough, homie.
I guess not.
Yeah.
I guess not.
You got to love harder.
Yeah, he really did. I will say though, this is going to sound bad, but I don't care. It's our podcast. There's very few times.
I just got word we're canceled.
Yeah.
Right. Well, maybe. There's very few moments that I have in film history that bring me as much joy as this did seeing him kill those kids, because I hated those kids. I don't know what it is about those fucking
They're
kids.
barely even on screen.
Oh, gosh, stop it, Derek. Don't. It's just the way they like, fuck you. You just, I couldn't do it. Second that they opened their mouth, I was like, God, I want you to die.
And that scene, I feel like that was the moment that really like shifted the whole tone of the movie.
Oh, for sure.
Because you walk in and he's just got both the bodies and
just chucks it.
Doesn't even like drop it, just chucks it away. Like when you finish a juice box and you're like, fuck this. Like, as soon as that happened, I was like, oh fuck, okay, we went there. Dope. Yeah. I was also very pleased with that scene. So
I remember
we have reached the children become juice boxes part of the movie.
I remember like 30 minutes before that scene happened, when we went and saw it in the theaters, I looked over at James and I was like, I really hope he kills these fucking kids. And James was like, okay. And then as soon as it happens, I looked at James and was like, nice. couldn't handle it. Couldn't do it. I don't know what about him, but
I love that it's that scene. It doesn't just go straight to him like killing kids. It's like, what's going on? And she runs in the room, and then there's like a 3-second hold on her face, and she's just like taking it all Jesus Christ! And then we get him eating kids. That's so good.
I love how 1 minute we go to, this movie is being misunderstood, and it's all about female empowerment and the life or the shit that women had to go through all these throughout eternity of fucking dealing with dickheaded dudes. And then thank fuck they killed these kids.
That's magical thinking. It's both things at the same time,
right?
Yeah,
because it's just like that scene.
I think it all makes sense.
It's just like the scene where her and I can't remember her friend's name, but they're walking on the beach, and Lily Rose Depp is like explaining what's going on, and the friend is just interpreting all of it as like, oh, you're in love, it's romantic, and blah 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 blah. And she's like, you're not. I mean, it does line up with that as well, and it's like, that's magical. The whole movie is that like both things are the same, and that's just Gothic literature too, right? Like, you're both in love with this thing, and it's terrifying. Like, I just love that he managed to do that throughout this whole fucking movie, and I have not seen a movie pull that off.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think that for me, a lot of Gothic horror, I love it because I love the aesthetics and I love the vibe of it, but a lot of it just drags. A lot of it for me lacks real storytelling. I just struggle with it. And of course, I'm sure a lot of people who have different interpretations of this movie, they're wrong. But the main thing that they kept going back to was that you don't understand that that she wants to be with Orlok, but she can't because she knows it's wrong, but she wants to be with him. And then everybody going like, no, she's been like abused since she was like a teenager by this entity. Like, she wasn't like, that's not the case. But their response to that is, you just don't understand Gothic horror,
right?
And it's like,
it's
no,
like,
that's not it.
Again, on one level, you're right. It is Gothic horror. That is a tenet of Gothic horror, but the interpretation of it being like a positive thing is the wrong part. Like,
we all know women who wanted to be with somebody that we were like, he's bad for you though. Like, he's manipulating you.
Me too.
And I do
I think most people going through their teenage.
I think that like this movie
dealt
really
with that. So
highlights the fact that most of our society, at least in American society and English speaking society in general, has been, I don't know how to explain it, but like the concept of healthy relationship love has been so fucking like perverted now that a lot of people have been kind of like brainwashed by media and shit to think that is healthy like love, and it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it was very unhealthy on multiple parts. I mean, even
those kids are fucking not healthy as fuck.
Yeah, Orlok does not look healthy.
But even him
not
risking
look healthy at all.
Even him risking his life because it's like, oh, like you're a married man now, like you're expected to have a higher salary, like you have to go do this, like secure this job here, and you're going to get that salary that you're supposed to have as a married man. And she's kind of demanding of that too,
begging
right? Like she's like,
him.
Like
please don't go. This is bad.
Right. But there's this, this societal norm and expectation of you having to, kind of risk life and just to go and get that, the salary and secure your.
And Thomas wants to be Harding. He envies his whole life. But the thing is Harding, that's his name, right, Josh?
Yeah. He inherited all that shit, right?
He inherited all of it. He's not a self-made dude.
I think that's also an interesting point, because Orlok then tries to be like, oh, well, I offered him gold and he took it in order to sell you out. And like, that's not what happened entirely.
Right.
Like, you fucking played, you played, what's his name?
Thomas.
Hutter.
Thomas. Yeah. Hutter.
Yeah.
Fucking Hutter. Like, it's so annoying. Like, you guys didn't even try to change it from fucking like,
right.
But yes, he accepts the gold because he's trying to be a good husband. He's trying to get money in order to take care of her.
Right.
And you spent countless amounts of power and energy in order to get Canuck to write up a fucking like evil fucking soul contract or some shit. We really don't even know what it's for.
It's not going to hold up in court. It's not going to hold up in court.
Yeah.
Maybe it holds up a demon court, though. I do love. Maybe. I'm
Mr.
pretty
Hunter
sure
says here that you signed over the rights to your own wife, and she just has to.
I
agree.
love that it's implied that Canuck wrote that contract in evil language, which means that they wanted to make that Orlok wanted to make sure that it was like legal,
right?
Like whatever that means.
That was all actually written in an actual language, and also like the shit that he was speaking was it's a dead language.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you Dacian.
That's what I read, but I didn't.
Yeah. So it's a super long gone dead language, but I mean Eggers being the nutbag that he is, so like historically accurate was
compliment.
His next movie apparently is going to have mostly dead language, I think.
Really?
Nice. Sick.
It's
the werewolf one.
It's incredibly impressive, like just his dedication to shit like that. I did see an interview too that I thought this was funny. I think it was with Rotten Tomatoes, and they had asked him if he would ever shoot a modern movie.
Yeah.
Did you see what he said?
Yeah.
He said the idea of having to photograph a car makes me ill. And the idea of photographing a cell phone is just death. And to make a contemporary story, you have to photograph a cell phone. It's just how life is. So no, I won't be making any modern set films. He said the most recent era that he would do would be the 1950s.
That's the most that's cool thing I've ever heard him say.
Yeah, the dude knows what he wants and what he's after, and
clearly he can fucking nail it, because this is like I've been saying, it's always one of the best movies of the past 10 years, if not.
Well, it's always visually stunning. Like all his movies are just so incredibly well shot, and they just look so cool.
I think the only I'm sure he loves The Northman, but based off of interviews and stuff, maybe I'm taking it the wrong way. It doesn't feel like that film was the same to him as his other three movies. Because that one, me too, but he didn't get final cut. He didn't get to make the exact movie that he wanted. From what I gathered,
I do feel like that movie really helped teach him how to make this movie.
Oh, I agree. I think it was it was Northman was a huge production compared to The Lighthouse or The Witch. So like because the Northman seemed more of Alexander Skarsgård's story, because he was the one who, in his producing team, like they came up with, or they found that saga of Amleth, and they wanted to make that movie. And then it's like, okay, well, let's make it authentic. And then you obviously go to this fucking guy who did an incredible fucking job of bringing that world to life. But even in a lot of people who I've talked to or just seen discourse online, it's like, oh, I love Eggers. And then Northman is not mentioned.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because I don't know. I
wonder how much that just has to do with it's not goth.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's the one that's not like horror.
Yeah.
Why? This is very weird to say. I feel like this movie didn't feel very horror to me. Like it didn't. It did. There's.
That is exceptionally weird to say, Derek.
Yeah.
It's
not a very.
You know how weird that is.
It's like max level weird.
That's super weird.
It just is very, again, a very dialogue heavy film, and I'm not saying that takes away from it. Obviously, very gothic looking, but there was no like
traditional horror tropes.
Well, yeah, it's certainly none of that. That's for sure. But there's no like.
What do you mean? There's a jump scare when he stands up out of the coffin and you see his dick. That's a jump scare. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Which that had to have been, because I know there wasn't a lot of CGI in this movie, but that had to have been CGI. No, it looked very.
Thomas Holt, Eggers.
Yeah, Nicholas Holt.
Yeah, Nicholas Holt. Eggers gave him the prosthetic.
I'm not talking about his dick. I'm talking about.
I thought you were talking about CGI dick.
No, just his body and the way it moved and how it propped up.
That's Skarsgård's body.
Yeah.
Well, I understand.
Underneath.
He's dead.
The way he launched out of the sarcophagus.
I guess it just looked.
I don't know.
Something off-putting about.
I have to watch
that.
I was also wondering.
I was too busy staring at his dick. Sorry.
I did have in my notes that was the most conveniently placed pickaxe ever.
Yeah.
It's like,
I noticed that on second viewing. I'm like, why would he leave that there?
Yeah,
it's just chilling right by his coffin.
Yeah, it's almost like I dare you to come try and fucking kill me.
Here's the image.
And my mind did immediately go to, it's not wood.
Yeah.
He's not going to kill him.
Here's the image I have in my head. Because is that when he's at the castle or when he gets to the?
No, that's he hangs in the castle.
He hangs dong in the castle. So I'm wondering if he was like, oh, like I gotta go mine out this area. Oh, I'm so sleepy. I'm just gonna put it here and go to bed.
I don't think he's mining shit, but
he's just working the late hours.
He's really putting in the effort.
He's a self-starter.
He's renovating.
He's renovating.
Yeah.
He's putting a basement in, dude. He wants to finish the basement.
Do you see? I mean, it makes
good
sense.
help is hard to find.
It makes complete and total sense. Look at where his coffin is. It's so easily accessible.
He ate all of the workers.
Yeah, and that's why it's 4 stars.
Yeah.
Come on.
We got down to it.
Pickaxe.
Okay.
Pickaxe.
Yeah.
Derek's right. I got to change my rating now.
Put mine down to 3.
I did. I didn't want to compare this to Gary Oldman Dracula, so 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula. But you just can't fucking help but do it.
Cannot.
Well, yeah, because it's still Dracula.
Yeah,
you still gotta.
Yeah, and I felt
it is
like
apples to apples,
right? I felt like these were two sides of the same coin. Where what Bram Stoker's Dracula doesn't give me, Nosferatu does, and then vice versa.
Yeah,
but I walked away from, because it's the same story, roughly the same story, or same story kind of tropes. But it made me second guess, like, okay, I need to go back and rewatch Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I did after I watched this in theaters. Is Bram Stoker's Dracula, is that story just as fucking toxic as this version of Nosferatu? And I just don't see it. But then it's like, it is. He is manipulating people and manipulating Nina.
And he's straight up stalking Nina.
Right. But then it's like, I at least understand I'm not saying that this is good. Don't do that. But I can also understand from Dracula's perspective of what makes that story seem a little different from this is the reincarnation aspect of his wife.
It's also the context of we have that first scene to see like how not only to see how like
they loved each other. Yeah.
In love they were.
Yeah.
And then
like, could you imagine your wife kills herself based off of false like news, and then you're left to roam the world for 400 years, and then you're just walking down the road, and then bam, there she is.
Right. And that's the thing is like, I think it, because there's no context to Nosferatu. It's just she calls out and he answers.
Yeah.
Whereas Dracula, it's like he wasn't necessarily like planning it. Fucking Johnny Depp showed up with the locket, and he was like,
right.
Oh, she
and he's
looks
like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly. Twins.
Yeah.
Like identical to her.
Right.
Which obviously she does because it's Winona Ryder.
It's her
parts.
Yeah.
But so like that
Wait,
one. Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Both roles?
Both roles. And they weren't even related.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The double impact of
Dracula. Yeah, dude, I was gonna say it's exactly like Double Impact.
You can't fucking escape Jean-Claude Van Damme.
The V stands for vampire.
Yeah.
Jean-Claude Vampire Dam. We need to make that
Vamp Dam. I'm writing it right now.
Okay. Nice. JCVD, hit us up. Make this.
Jesus.
But yeah, I think because we don't have context for
I was trying to think of the "he's not enough strong for jail" line, but what would Dracula say like that? And I'm like,
he's not enough strong for sunlight.
I cross time ocean for you.
Like, be with. I'm sorry, I fucked that up.
Hold on, I've just been watching a lot of Star Wars. Give me another
That's
shot.
a movie that I'd love to watch, and then especially if Van Damme puts in effort of sounding like Dracula, like he's trying to sound.
Oh my god, Van Damme has the mustache.
He's like, no, I can't do it. It's like, yeah, I know. That's the point. Like, just,
yeah, that's what we
try.
That's exactly what we're going for.
Yeah.
Keep trying. Don't worry. We're gonna film it real quick. It's not even gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
One take and we're out.
Yeah.
Whole movie.
So speaking of that,
it's because I trust your ability, John.
I thought Skarsgård voice in this was wild, and I was wondering because it was so deep, and he obviously doesn't have a very deep voice. So I know I saw he trained with an opera singer. Yeah, after this. So he trained with an opera singer, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's sick.
Which is so cool when you hear shit.
Yeah, they told him he was at risk of permanently altering his vocal cords if he spoke like this through the entire filming. Yeah. And he was like, I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah.
That's crazy. Just like, I feel like, especially when hearing a story like that with a movie like this, it seems so mythical. Like I can't picture him just a normal dude in like a room with an opera singer and like what that training looks like. Like it's very, to me, comparable to sports where like years ago, Kobe Bryant, he had, I think it was when he ruptured his Achilles tendon, and the whole summer he did tap dancing to strengthen his
That's awesome.
Achilles and his calves and all that shit.
That's
but it's
so
like
clever.
it just, to me, it's so like I always felt like sports and entertainment, a lot of it is so comparable with shit like that. But it's interesting to just like even have that idea of hiring an opera singer for how you're going to talk in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's so beyond me. Like it's so just foreign to me. But when you hear it, it's so fucking cool. It's just like, I don't know, obviously a dedication to the role, but it makes it that much cooler to hear stories like that about the role. But yeah, he sounded incredible. Like it just sounded, and I'm wondering, like they had to have turned up the bass a bit, right? Like there's a bit of EQing happening, or is it just him fucking sounding insanely? You know,
Eggers insisted that there was nothing done to the voice after the fact. He talked about it in a couple different interviews. He's like, people are going to think that we modified his voice in post, but we did not. That is what Bill sounded like on set because he worked with an opera coach and was dedicated to making sure he sounded creepy
wild
as fuck. But yeah, it's just another way like it's not recognizable because you put that voice next to Pennywise and you're like, this is not the same person.
Right.
There's no way.
I'm very glad and almost like relieved that he did another role where he fully immersed himself in that and into a character, and it was a hit.
Yeah.
Because Pennywise, like that first It chapter 1, like when that came out, I was so blown away by his acting.
So good. So
I mean,
good.
it's so
it's such a shame they never came out with the second one.
Right. And then he goes on the multiple films where I don't think that it was his fault, but I think it was the directors trying to push him this way and that way. The Crow remake, he's the villain in John Wick 4, and like all of these things where
I'll say I could totally see him. I haven't seen John Wick 4 actually, but I could totally see him being approached to do Crow and being like, this could be cool. And then whenever they like finally bring him the stuff, he's like, fuck, I signed the contract.
I mean, I haven't seen it.
Well, I haven't either, but I've seen the trailer.
I feel like somebody just saw a black and white photo of Pennywise and was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Called Bill.
Right. And like he was in that show Castle Rock, I think it was. Based on the Stephen King universe, and I don't feel like they utilized him at all.
No, they gave him like his role had so much potential, and then they just did nothing with it.
Just did absolutely nothing. And
like, so he did Boy Kills World.
Boy Kills World is dope. It's dope.
I haven't seen it yet, but he doesn't even talk in that one. He's got an inner monologue.
Dude, it's so like he doesn't talk in it, but it's so much better because he doesn't talk in it, because it's all the guy who does Bob Burgers.
Yeah.
It's all him fucking monologuing as Skarsgård. So it's Bob.
Yeah. So Skarsgård like lost his voice or something when he was young. So he's got his something inner voice is voiced by H. John Benjamin. Yeah.
Yeah. H. John Benjamin. Thank you. And like, really dude, funny. And like, it's him talking in his head. So all the people are doing shit and responding to him as though he can't talk. And then he's responding to them, but they never hear it. So it's like him saying all this ridiculous shit, and then them just being like, "All right, fuck it, let's kill these people." Like
that's pretty funny.
It's really really well done, so good.
But yeah,
it's super violent.
He gives so much of himself in these roles.
Yeah,
and I was really glad that he finally had another hit, like a really really big hit, because I was starting after a while. I was like, man, I really like feel bummed that this guy came out and nailed it with Pennywise, and then it feels like nobody knows how to utilize him anymore.
Yeah. He was in Deadpool 2 for 14, 15 seconds.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
he played a Zeitgeist. Yeah. That's the joke. Is they stacked this team of Delta or not X-Force, and they're all getting ready to roll out, and then they all fucking die like
that's right
within a few seconds. So he plays Zeitgeist who can like spit venom acid, and he's funny. He's great in it for the 9 or 10 seconds that he's in it. But yeah, that's it. And then Villains is a movie that came out a few years ago with him and Micah Monroe that was really fucking good. And I feel like that's going to happen now. Is he's the moment or whatever, because he's like super attractive, very very talented, and has
family
pretty good taste for the most part. Like I like James said, I feel like The Crow had potential, and you watch this remake and you're like, man, there could have been something good here, because you've got a great cast. You've got Danny fucking Houston as your villain. You've got so much like potential, and I don't know if it was the studio or if it was something with reshoots or rewrites or somebody else fucking around where they were like, no, we gotta expand this part, but it's so messy, and he doesn't even like really become the Crow until the last 10 fucking minutes, which is all in the trailer. And I'm like, this is such a disaster. But he's good in it, and you want to like it because he's good.
From what I was hearing from Coy Jandreau about it, is he was like, look, go see this movie, but realize that it's not The Crow. Like, they shouldn't have made it a remake of The Crow. It should have just been another story in The Crow, because there's multiple Crows. Like, it's not like, the only Crow is Eric Draven. It's just that he's the one in that story that gets the power. And then once he gets his revenge, that's done. He dies and goes on and it goes to the next person. And Coy was saying that, like, if you watch this movie and this movie shouldn't have been Eric Draven. It should have been some other story about
like the 5 other fucking sequels that have come out.
Yeah, like that's what's so crazy to me is like,
they made it. He's Eric.
Yes, he's Eric.
That's
it's not a different Crow.
That's why so many people are frustrated.
Yeah,
because they were like, we don't need this remake, and I'm like, just pretend it's another fucking sequel. Like we got 5 sequels that you didn't protest. Just like nothing's gonna happen to the Brandon Lee one,
right? But then there's also a lot of other problems with it, like tonally and like what's in it. Like they keep going to like the underworld or some shit, or it is like, what does this have to do with the Crow? Like this is too much.
Yeah, he's got like a dude that he can check in with in purgatory or whatever, who's like, hey man, you're not crowing right out there. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do my own thing. And he's like, no, you gotta listen to me. This is how you're supposed to. This is how you crow. And he's like, I don't want to do that. And then he finally at the end, he's like, all right, I'm ready to crow.
Ready to crow right.
Yeah. Like go out there and fucking crow it up. Yeah. It's a bummer. But I'm excited to see what more he does. I'm trying to remember what I still have to watch Boy Kills World. That's been on my list for a minute. But that was another thing I remembered is somebody interviewed him. You always think about these interviews, like when they get influencers or like first time journalists or just people who aren't interested in film or know what they really want to talk about. And so there's somebody on a red carpet who was like, Bill, Pennywise, Nosferatu, what is it with you playing monsters? And he's like, I've played like dozens of other characters before, but for some reason those are the 2 that people keep bringing up. And I'm like, I can't like fault them for that. Like obviously these are the 2 that come to mind because they're the biggest titles and that took in the most money and had the biggest marketing behind them and everything. But clearly, like you gotta wonder what it feels like for him when someone's like, these 2 movies where you play hideous beasts that kill people are the only ones we
nothing
can
like
name
yourself.
Right now.
You sound nothing like yourself. You act nothing like yourself.
What other movies do you make? And I'm like, he shows his face and his range in a lot of other things. Locked. That's the one I gotta fucking watch. That's the new one that just came out with him in it. Yeah, it's him and Anthony Hopkins in
it's the one where he's locked in a
like psychological horror movie. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah. It's like Cujo without the dog.
Yeah. And I thought he was good in John Wick 4. But I'm a John Wick.
I liked it. I just didn't really feel like he was like a villain.
Wait, which one?
John Wick 4.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's a weird, what?
Yeah, he's
I was weirded out by that one. I can't remember what her name was now. She was super popular for a minute there, but the tattooed girl that was like muted. I think it was
Ruby Rose.
Yeah,
Ruby
her.
Rose. Yeah,
Ruby
her
Rose,
too. Like they just picked really weird.
Yeah.
I think she got canceled for something. But
she just
really
like bailed on Batgirl, and I think there was like a whole backstory of her being extremely difficult to work with.
And then the movie got canned or shelved.
Well, no, not the Batgirl movie, the show. She was supposed to be Batgirl in the CW show. She was in season 1, and then between seasons, she was like, "No, this was
right. I forgot about that.
Too hard on my body, so I'm out." And they were like, "Oh, this shit."
That's not really how
there was like a whole
supposed
drama.
to go.
Yeah,
your Bat girl, like what?
Yeah.
Okay, vampires. So let's get back to what else you liked or disliked, Derek.
Just all on Derek.
Just all on Derek's shoulders. Bring it back.
No, I'm good, dude.
I was really counting on that to spark it up again, bud.
Well, I was curious if, and not to completely ignore what you just said, but I was curious, Josh.
Fuck you, Justin.
Or actually, all of you, because I didn't see it in theaters, but all 3 of you saw it in theaters, right?
Yeah.
Did any of you see it in IMAX, or did you see it in 35 millimeter?
No, we saw it in the Dolby Atmos theater, which was fucking incredible. The sound, the sound design in this film and the mastering of it is
crazy.
It's nuts.
It's thunderous.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, you could tell the audio is fucking a big focal point in the production.
Yeah. It was. Awesome. I know surround sound obviously makes you feel like you're immersed in what you're watching, but this was on a different level. Like they really put in a lot of time in sound design.
I genuinely felt a little hypnotized.
Yeah, it really does. It makes you feel the way that they designed the sound was all encapsulating. It was nuts.
Yeah,
but no,
it's the combo of the sound plus the visuals. Like there's so many scenes in this movie where he fucking pulls out so many different fucking movie making tricks all in one thing, and it like the fucking carriage scene minus the fact that there's no driver, that whole carriage scene from crossroads to castle, it's just so many different shooting techniques.
It's gorgeous.
That crossroads shot
chaining into each other, bro. It's so good.
I don't know what it is about that shot of the crossroads of him just standing there, but it is one of my favorite shots in any film I have ever seen.
Because it feels like he's actually at a crossroads about to meet the devil.
Yeah.
It's just goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I think the way, especially if you saw it in theaters, the way it like bleeds into the sides of the screen.
Yeah.
And like the way you just get the distance where the crossroads are going, it just feels vast. And then I saw this in theaters 3 times. I got very fortunate because obviously, full disclosure, I interviewed Willem Dafoe and Robert Eggers, and so before that junket interview they had us see the movie, so I got to go to a junket screening in a Dolby theater, and
that's awesome.
Nice. And so it was a theater filled with people who were there that appreciate movies and are there to interview with cast and crew later that week. So everyone was very respectful. Everyone was quiet. Nobody took out their fucking phone.
Preferable audience to watch.
Exactly. It was an audience filled with people who were fucking hyped. One guy dropped his metal sarcophagus filled with popcorn during a quiet scene, but it was so fucking funny that it happened that no one was just mad. We were all just like, oh, that's hilarious. But the thing is, watching it that first time, for the first half of the movie, I was just like, fuck, I'm watching Nosferatu right now.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to watch this movie for so goddamn long, and I'm watching Nosferatu right now because I'm about to interview Robert Eggers and Willem Dafoe. Oh shit, what happened? I forgot. What did she just say? Because I'm like blacked out, just completely in the zone of like, I get to finally see this movie that I was not paying attention to the movie.
Right.
And then the second time I saw it, Focus Features had reached out about doing a paid partnership video on my TikTok, and they were like, but we have to give you a screening first. And I was going to be like, oh, I've already seen it. But instead I was like, yes, I'll go see it. Thank you for the free screening. And that one, I got to go to the Burbank Dolby Labs screening room. So it's like a Dolby employee screening room. So it was me and 3 other people who work for Dolby or whatever, and like their guests. And it was just it was just a quaint little theater, but yeah, the screen just fucking filled one end of the room, and surrounded by the Dolby system was insane. And that's when I fully paid attention to the movie, and that's when I bumped it up half a star because I was like, oh, all the shit I missed the first time because I was just overwhelmed all makes sense now. And it was incredible. And then the third time I saw it, I was like, Kimmy's got to see this movie, and so I took her to see it opening weekend, and we ended up with a pretty good crowd actually at our local AMC. So it was 3 for 3.
Yeah, that's awesome. It was playing in 35 millimeter in some places, right? I thought I saw that.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think a couple of theaters in LA had the 35 millimeter print. We didn't get to see that one though.
Yeah, I missed I'm very glad that I went back and saw it the second time because I missed some of the dialogue, especially at the beginning, which when I watched it the second time, I was like, oh, this movie makes so much more sense because I didn't pick up on some of the dialogue of what she says in the very beginning of that opening scene. So the whole movie, I was like, why is he after her? Why is this happening? And I was like, oh, I missed like a major 3 lines of dialogue.
I think it's not hard to do in a movie like this. Like you can easily miss
for sure. Yeah.
Especially in the theater. Because I remember when we went to see it, I was like, this is incredible. And like I was so enthralled by it and so just hypnotized by it that when I was like, all right, I'm gonna see how much of this I can remember before I watch it. And I couldn't fucking remember any of it. And then I watched it this time. I watched it last night and was like, this is genuinely improved on a second watch.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I got to give it another watch. I wish I saw it in theaters. I'm bummed I didn't go see it.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I definitely was like, I'm so glad that I saw this in theaters because it is not the same experience on a TV.
Yeah, for sure.
It's still amazing, but man.
Yeah.
It's always better on the big screen.
Yeah.
To totally... Oh, go ahead.
No,
dude. No, go ahead.
Dumb remark on now.
No, go ahead.
No, dude, it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
I was gonna say movie theaters are gonna go away soon. I should have fucking went and go saw it.
Fuck yeah.
I fucking hope not.
Yeah.
So I was going to kind of shift gears to go back to the work that Eggers puts into his movies.
Mm-hmm.
I read the novel. Have any of you guys read Bram Stoker's Dracula, like the novel?
I think I know I own it somewhere. I'm pretty sure I read it back in high school, but I barely remember it.
I fucking hate it.
I did not like it. Granted, that was
take my golf. I read it. I don't like it.
Yeah, I read it like I think 2011.
It's too much about the fucking boat, man.
No, it's nothing. It's not about the boat. It's about other. He's hardly in it.
Well,
and I just wanted.
That's what I'm saying. Is
when you're
there's
watching,
more about the boat than there is Dracula.
When you're watching Bram Stoker's Dracula, since you're like a kid, you know, Gary Oldman's all over that fucking movie. So that whenever you read the book and like Dracula's like hardly in it. Like, what the fuck am I reading? Why did I read this?
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I read like half of it and I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah, it's not. Now, after I watched Nosferatu the first time, I went back and listened to it on audiobook, which there's a really good copy of it on Spotify.
Nice.
But one of the things that I can't believe I have never seen this input in any other vampire movie based on off that book until Eggers mentions it in the scene where Thomas gets rescued and he's going back and forth with the older woman, and she mentions I can't remember the exact line of dialogue, but it touches on a thing, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but it's a school called the Salamis. And apparently that is mentioned twice in the novel Bram Stoker's Dracula, very kind of briefly. And it mentions that Dracula attended this school. So,
it's a secret school.
Yeah, it's like a secret school. So I was like, what the fuck is that? Where does that come from? Where did Bram Stoker get that from? Did he create that or what? So I researched, and back in, I can't remember when, might have been, okay, so late 1800s. There's a lady named Emily Garrett. She's married to, I can't remember what her husband was doing, but they basically, he gets, I think he was stationed, I think he was at something with English military, but they are stationed in Romania, and she falls in love with like the culture there. So she starts asking and interviewing and documenting all of Hungarian folklore or Romanian folklore, talking to all of the older women and trying to get an idea and an understanding of where their folklores are come from. And she published a book about it. And in this book, that Bram Stoker's Dracula, when writing about the character of Dracula, finds Emily's book, starts reading it, and then adds this little tidbit into Dracula's, or his version of Dracula's lore. So in her book, she says, she's talking about the weather essentially. And she goes, as I am on the subject of thunderstorms, I may as well here mention the Salamis, or school, supposed to exist somewhere in the heart of the mountains, and where the secrets of nature, the language of animals, and all magic spells are taught by the devil in person. Only 10 scholars are admitted at a time, and when the course of learning has expired and 9 of them are released to return to their homes, the 10th scholar is detained by the devil as payment, and mounted upon a dragon, becomes henceforth the devil's aid and assists him in making the weather that is preparing the thunderbolts. So in Bram Stoker's Dracula's version of Dracula, in his lore, that is where Dracula obtains all of his magical powers.
Right.
So not only is he a vampire, Not only is he the vampire, he's also a fucking necromancer.
So let me break this down into magic, into reality stuff. So it's a secret school, a lot like what Madame Blavatsky was into, where it's essentially like teaching you. It's not even necessarily about magic. It's more so about like helping you understand the secrets of the world and like how shit is. But going back that far, it probably is more about like spells and shit, but it's actually probably science that they just don't understand yet.
In real life,
that's what I'm saying.
500 years of the past. What she's the next chapter or the next paragraph. She's talking about thunderstorms and how she says no true Romanian will venture to rest here at the hour of noon. Mm-hmm. Apparently that area just has really bad thunderstorms.
Right.
And people venturing out into the wilderness get struck by lightning on this fucking mountain.
Yeah.
So that becomes translated into the devil works up there. Don't go up there. You're going to die because the devil's making lightning and killing everybody who goes.
100%. I could see a small secret school that only takes a few people because that's all they do. They're not cults, but they're closer to a cult than like an actual religion. But it's essentially like a religious school where it's just not teaching like traditional religion. It's teaching
if it
like
even existed.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying if it existed. If it existed, it was probably more so like all the devil stuff came afterwards. Like all the devil stuff came from people that hadn't been to it. So yeah, maybe they take 10 students in, they teach them these secrets or whatever the fuck, and then they like the one person staying behind, all that stuff is just symbolic. It's not he's not payment. He's becoming the next teacher.
Right.
He's becoming the next
teacher.
No. But I know that's what the myth says. I'm saying in reality, the actual realistic version is if there is a school, it's probably just somebody like Madame Blavatsky, who none of these fucking villagers have seen, who is like teaching people how to fucking like how to work better and how to do things better. It's like it's all the shit that they didn't want to teach you because they'd get in trouble.
All of the what is the demon in Hereditary?
Paimon.
I think
Paimon?
Paimon?
Yeah. What's funny about all of that stuff is in actual demonology, much like this school that she is in, that she finds out about, or the lore and myth of this magical school ran by the devil, all about weather and science and all of this stuff. The demon Paimon was the demon of the weather.
Yeah.
And he had secret knowledge of how weather happens. And it's all filtered through Christianity, who didn't understand what weather was. So therefore that's evil.
So much of that demonology shit, all the demons and shit, all that shit was made up by Christians. Like,
of course.
It was all just, that's why they're so boring, right? Because it's not like it's like, oh, we got 22 fucking demons that really play that shit out of some fucking music, I guess.
Right.
And like, this one's got weather. Honestly, the weather one's more interesting than most of the ones that we've come into.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was.
What are the other ones? I'm curious to. What are some other ones?
There's
one of them has an adamantium skeleton, I think, and the other one shoots lasers. Oh no,
that's X-Men. That's X-Men.
Yeah, I'm thinking of X-Men.
Yeah.
But I thought adding that
one of them's a fucking bird.
But I thought adding that little tidbit of info that was in Bram Stoker's Dracula, the book, I'm baffled that it was not included in other iterations of Dracula, the movie. Because that's such a cool fucking little information or backstory into the character of Dracula that they wove into it.
Yeah.
That
they sort of did, because he's from the House of the Dragon.
Right, but that's a Christian that was a religious order that his dad and him were in. So they were it's like Crusader Knights.
Right, but I'm saying that may have been their
version
that may have been Ford Coppola's version of like the dragon thing.
Maybe not. I don't know, because like
it's also
the dragon was a real thing.
Yeah, it's also just that like I think it's really difficult to try and explain that in a short amount of time.
Which it's like
I'm trying to explain it now and I still haven't been able to fully explain it.
Yeah, it's like I want a backstory. I want like a Dracula origin movie that shows that shows him going and learning how to conjure fucking magic.
I think the problem is that no, Drac you, Josh.
No, Drac you, like university. Horror comedy, obviously.
Yeah.
Sounds like Harry Potter.
It's just 2.5 hours of fucking Dracula writing and doing like
I don't know why my brain just went to Van Wilder with Ryan Reynolds.
But he's a Dracula.
He's totally a Dracula.
That's how you pitch it, yeah. Like Vamp Wilder. Ready?
Vamp Wilder, yeah. And he's going to drag you.
Yeah. Jesus.
This is brilliant.
I mean, we got the movie On the Boat.
We got two movies now.
Yeah, we got Last Voyage of the Demeter, which was like, what if we took just this piece of the Dracula and made it its own full movie?
So instead of Last Voyage of the Demeter,
do is take 10 pages of Dracula and make it its own movie.
Hold on,
every couple years until we've got 14 hours of cinema.
Movies about Dracula growing up.
Wait. We've got Last Voyage of the Demeter. This is first semester of the year.
First semester of the year. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think we're onto something.
Right down.
So stupid.
Yeah, we've got Jean-Claude Van Damme and Drac you. Vamp Wilder.
Oh, I quit.
I feel like Dracula at school is just like, you know, he just couldn't get girls, and he just starts picking reading
Twilight
artist books.
It's the Twilight franchise.
Well, that's why he's that's why he's such a love bombing melodramatic dick, right? Like because he couldn't get laid.
He's a pickup artist. He's reading fucking.
Oh God.
Yeah. He's got the game.
You know what? I'm starting to understand the hat, the mustache, the coat. I get it now.
Yeah, he's
I get it.
peacocking.
It's just fucking peacocking. What a cunt.
Fucking dork.
Yeah.
This has just made him more of a villain in my eyes.
If Orlok could hear this, he would probably be sulking in a corner. He's like, totally
guys.
not what I was. Totally not what I was
reading how to make friends and influence people for the 10th time. Like, fuck those guys, dude.
Yeah.
This book will teach you how to
48 Laws of Power said in chapter 9 that I got to utilize this kind of human dynamic in order to get what I want, guys. Okay? I had a bad childhood. All right, I was lonely. None of them will
go out with me. Why won't they go out with me?
I have this fucking mustache.
None of them will go out with me. Why won't any of them go out with me? Sorry.
Yeah, be accurate. Because your dick's hanging off, bro.
God. And it doesn't even work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, how would it? No, I'm not going down that way.
Anyway. Was a little disappointed that it was prosthetic. I mean, I love that Nicholas Hoult now has it framed in his home, but I'm like, you worked with an opera coach extensively to get your voice down a full octave, but you couldn't hang
give us
dong.
The real thing.
You couldn't just hang real dong, bro.
You had to Mark Wahlberg it and fucking Boogie Nights us.
Josh, you saying that comment right after you talking about interviewing Eggers and Defoe just really put me in my head of going, you being able to interview Skarsgård and be like, you know what, bro? I'm really disappointed it wasn't your dick.
Yeah, bro. And what if he leaves it and he's like, me too.
Me too.
Right. Yeah.
They wouldn't let it.
Maybe it was like speaking of Defoe, maybe that's why.
Maybe it was just too giant.
Yeah,
it wasn't proportionate.
Well, we've seen his brothers, haven't we? What movie was that?
That's the crazy part. That's Willem Dafoe's dick. It's molded off of Willem Dafoe's dick.
That's another guy's who we've seen. Antichrist? Didn't we see?
That's not his dick.
No, it's not. That's
a
stunt cock because his dick's too big.
They had to use a stunt cock because Willem Dafoe's dick was too big. That was
the guy licked his hand and smacked his butt before going in with a stunt cock.
Good game.
Like an orgasm.
Probably.
That's wild.
Hey, you're doing a real good job with my dick out there.
What were you saying, Derek? You get to see his
Yeah,
Four straight dudes talking about dudes.
I'll
and no, I think Alex Skarsgård. Yeah.
I think at this point, straight might be a stretch for us. As much dick as we've talked about.
5 weeks of just JCVD splits were incredible.
So much dick and ass. And we pretty much we dedicate like 2 seconds to a sex scene with some boobs.
Yeah.
Let me. I forget what movie it was in.
See how sweaty Thomas Holt is? You know, this whole fucking movie.
Yeah. They talked about Nosferatu really for a couple hours. They got kind of pervy about it. Oh, like the Lily Rose stuff. No, actually, they didn't talk about her at all. They just
not at all
talked about Bill Skarsgård's fake dick for like half an hour.
She barely came up.
Actually, I don't want to end this without discussing her performance.
Oh my god, yes,
fucking shit.
Yeah,
well, it's crazy too because like it's not like she has a crazy resume. So like this was a big
has she been in anything before this?
Yoga hosers. And
she's in okay. Okay. Now I gotta watch Yoga Hosers. Fine,
because she was like best friends with Kevin Smith's daughter. That's
I think they were neighbors.
Right.
Yeah,
close,
and Johnny Depp's in those movies too.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to feel real old? Kevin Smith's daughter is engaged.
Engaged now.
That made me feel old as fuck.
To the guy that plays, I'm pretty sure to the guy that plays young Kevin Smith in the movie he just made about his childhood. So he's like, it's really awkward. Like this kid's playing me when I was like a teenager.
That is weird.
And he's with my daughter in his free time now. Yeah.
But
also, a thought that only Kevin Smith would have.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think it's her in the beginning of Jane and Silent Bob Strikes Back, right? The little bit it's like,
it is.
Okay. Lily Rose Depp was also in Silent Night, which I haven't seen yet. That's one of like 9 movies called Silent Night, but this was a horror comedy Christmas movie that came out in 2021. It's supposed to be really good. And then she did The Idol with The Weeknd on Max,
yeah, I just blocked that out of my fucking head.
I never watched it, but I heard it was
I haven't watched it either.
Terrible.
But I've heard really, really toxic shit about The Weeknd on that set, bro. Like that dude, fuck that dude.
Yeah, it was from the same guy who did Euphoria, and just like a lot of bad stories. And I've just heard that the show is not great.
Bad stories about the guy that did Euphoria, or just
I've heard plenty of stories about him too, but just like about how messy the shoot was, and just some of the weird
all the reviews
stuff
I've
that's
heard
endorsed in the film or in the
say that
show.
It's really predatory.
Yeah,
like his character towards Lily Depp is very like rumory, predatory. Like why? Like it's one of those situations where that wasn't what it was supposed to be, and then Weeknd and the Euphoria guy kind of like pushed it in that direction, and it ends up being like the Weeknd is just super like predatory towards Lily Depp, and you're like, what? Why would you want to make this
very sketch?
Her performance in Nosferatu was I could not get over it.
It's incredible.
Like what you said earlier, Derek. The movie is obviously centered around her. She's the main focal point of the movie. She's the hero. She's the heroine of the movie. She outsmarts him. She defeats him. She sacrifices herself. She does all of this stuff. But her like physical acting, the body transformation,
the convulsions,
and like where she's like, it looks like it's sped up. It looks like they're doing something to it, and they're not.
No.
Like
they definitely did something with that crazy face she did, right? The fucking eyes rolled back. And
I don't think so, dude.
I know. Yeah,
I don't think so.
Her too.
Yeah, I didn't.
At least with the eyes, the eyes were too clean.
Well, the eye, even the tongue looked all like.
Just look like a tongue.
The tongue. She might just have a long tongue. I'm fine with the tongue.
No, not just
fine.
that.
I mean, I don't think she went full evil.
I'm gonna research this.
You gotta research
this weird face Lily Rose Depp made.
Yeah. No, I don't.
We got some behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, I'm sure there's some.
Oh yeah, I got the Blu-ray.
Fun special features on the Blu-ray.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that was all her, dude.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away from her performance. Yeah, I thought
maybe
that's it was unreal.
You had a half star.
Yeah.
There's your half star right there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that shot where she rips her fucking bodice open. I was like, gee, like she's just so fucking like.
It's a powerful performance on every fucking level.
She's hitting on both like just straight up like emotional, romantic, like sadness, but also on like terrifying intensity of being possessed. Also, thing that I should have brought up, this is more so a possession movie than anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure.
Like watching it, I was like, because he's not in it with her that much, so he doesn't have physical.
Yeah, they only have
2
scenes together.
Yeah, so it's mainly a possession movie, and I was like, man, that really like changed the way I was looking at it this time, and like it makes more sense. But yeah, like her just being able to fucking balance both of those at the same time, and just flip a switch and like. She's fucking insane, and you're like, oh Jesus, what's going on? Like, it's so good.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
No.
Yeah. I think another question I have about if it's a prosthetic or not, or his hands.
They've got
his hands.
Oh, that's
his real.
Yeah, those are extra long fingers.
He gave him the gangle. They gave him the gangles.
Yeah. Especially the scene where he's got his hand out of his coat.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it can't be his real hand. Right?
The one where it felt really obvious that they were
when he's like getting the money together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No,
I was use these hands
at the end when he reaches his hand out and it like goes down his hand and then it turns into the shadow. The part where his hand is out the window, I was like, those look fake. Those look very rubber.
Yeah.
One thing I loved her performance, and I immediately was online being like, she's the centerpiece of this movie, obviously, and she crushes it. I thought the whole cast did incredible, but I thought she definitely was the standout. And what pissed me off is the amount of people who can't take this stuff seriously anymore. And like, so many people are like, nah, she was overacting. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, if she had pulled back, you'd be like, this doesn't seem intense. This doesn't seem that scary. This is not, I was like, she's not overacting. That's what is happening to her. Or the people that think it's funny when like she's contorting and her eyes are rolling back. And I was like, yeah, she looks, but she doesn't look silly. Like, just, what do you fucking like? Yeah. What mentality were you in when you came to this movie? Well, and I see that in horror all the time when it's something that's supposed to be uncomfortable or horrifying, and there's always somebody in the theater who's like, and I'm
really
fucking
they don't know how to sit with their anxiety because they're probably not accustomed to watching horror.
Because that's why they're doing
anxiety. It's them not being accustomed to it, and it does look silly to them for whatever reason.
I think this film brought in a lot of that.
I think a lot of normal people went to go see it and didn't really work.
People went in expecting a Dracula 2000 type vampire movie.
Either
that's
that
a good question because it made a lot of fucking money. So I would imagine a lot of those audiences, to all your points right now, it's probably people who didn't even know that it was an original movie from the 1920s.
There were
probably
so many people who were confused, being like, "That's just Dracula." I'm like, Yeah.
100%.
Did you not know that going in? Like,
that's one of my favorite.
All of this was common knowledge.
That's one of my favorite parts about it is that, like you said, Justin, it's the other side of the coin of Bram Stoker's Dracula. And watching it the first time, normally this would be a critique of mine, but I actually liked how much clearly he had watched Bram Stoker's Dracula and learned from it, and then brought it over to this one because that's what the books are.
For sure.
You read Dracula and you were like, oh, well, what if we did a bunch of different shit?
This. Yeah.
And then like, oh, it's Nosferatu. And then
I read, you just made me remember of a note that I forgot to mention. Do you know what movie he watched for his biggest influence for this movie?
What?
Oh, fuck. I read this somewhere, but I forgot what it was.
What? Mel Brooks' Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
Yeah. That's fucking
And he said
hilarious.
he watched it basically for things not to do to make glaringly
that makes sense, man.
Tropes of Dracula.
Yeah. And, I think a lot of people went into this movie and came out of it and maybe that is some of the sources of misunderstanding, in my opinion, what was going on between her character and Orlok. I think too many people forget that vampires are villains.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not your friend.
Well, I mean,
granted, everything is, and I understand how that could be kind of overlooked whenever you have, like what Josh mentioned earlier, the Twilight series, and
especially
what we
with
do
a generation of people that have grown up on Twilight.
Right.
He's not a bad guy.
And now we have, What We Do in the Shadows, where
Mm-hmm.
every character on that is just fucking hysterical. And same thing with the movie, where it's like, this is the first film that I've seen in a minute where it's like, oh no, like, he's a bad fucking dude. And then it makes you remember,
monster.
like, yeah, he's a monster. Then it makes you remember, like, yeah, they're all fucking monsters. They've always been monsters.
And that was even an issue in the 30s, though, because the original Dracula was marketed as a romance and released on Valentine's Day. And then you watch it now and you're like, no, that's
no, he's a bad guy. He's not a good dude.
He's a bad person. Yeah.
Yeah. He kills people.
I think that says a lot
That's not
about
good.
where people's heads were / are at on romance, especially like when the original Dracula came out, that all the dudes were like, yeah. It's a romantic dude. That's a romantic guy.
Yeah. See that?
Well, and then
kill for
you see the memes. Yeah, there was like so many memes when Nosferatu came out where they're like, this dude brought a whole plague across an ocean to be with his girl, and you think showing up with carnations from Ralph's is enough? Like, get your shit together, dudes. Like, you're not a real boyfriend. And I'm like, that's a good meme. That is funny. But let's also remember that the guy who brought the plague and
he brought the plague
was evil.
What part of that is cool?
And she didn't want him. Like,
while I applaud him for killing those two kids, he still killed two kids. That's not good, bud. That's not good.
Well, we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on that one, Justin.
Killing kids in general, not good. I mean, those kids sucked, but in general,
I didn't say nothing. Creep-O-Rama, 3/4 of us are not pro killing kids.
All kids.
Quite a bit of them.
Yeah.
$50 million budget. I don't know what I was expecting, but
that's honestly feels low for this.
Yeah. For some weird reason, I thought so too, but I mean, that is a lot of.
It's a lot of money. Yeah. It's just that we're so used to like expensive ass modern movies.
Right.
I was gonna say, it feels low just because of what the budgets are for much shittier movies that have come out lately.
Right. Yeah.
But I just think Eggers has a good way of managing a budget, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Grossed $180 million.
Well, it helps when all the actors that you're hiring actually want to do the movie, so they don't take exorbitant fucking rates.
Right.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. I also felt like, this movie was perfectly casted.
Yeah.
Like perfectly. Like everybody felt like they were part of that role.
Let's go past like Defoe and Depp and Holt and Skarsgård, but just to Canuck and to the other guy,
from the witch,
the warden guy, that guy,
oh yeah,
who until you just said that, I kept being like, what is he from? And he looked, I mean, he looks completely fucking different.
Completely different. That dude's voice is so fucking cool.
You're talking about Ralph Ineson?
Yes.
Yeah. When he says fucking alchemy, mystic philosophy, the occult. I'm like,
yes.
I just want to hear him say that again.
That's gonna get sampled so much at some point. Like it's gonna be in industrial songs and metal songs. It's gonna happen. It's gotta happen. But like those two alone are like, holy shit. The performances that they give in roles that like are not, I mean, they are pivotal to the movie, but not what a lot of people would consider starring roles. Like it's just so like we were saying about Canuck, like he genuinely is like kind of scary. He's genuinely a creepy little guy who's just fucking like
you buy,
huh?
He was eating them raw, like.
Dude, that shot where he eats that fucking the pigeon's head is insane.
Yeah,
I've tried. So obviously they did not kill a real bird.
No, there's no
but
way.
I have tried. I've watched that scene 3 times, and I cannot see where they cut to a fake bird.
No,
like the effects whatever they did.
I don't see it, but I can see where in the couple seconds where it must be.
Yeah,
is when the bird
right
goes off. Well, the bird goes off screen for a moment, but then when it comes back, it's still moving its head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a moment where the bird's head like he's holding it. There's a moment where the bird's head looks at his chest to where they must have switched it. The edit must be right there.
Yeah,
somewhere within that couple seconds.
Yeah. Which fucking really shows how immaculately precise he acted every time he picked up that fucking bird.
Right.
Because you know it wasn't just twice. You know he fucking had to do it like multiple times. But bro, it lines up so perfect. Unless they CG'd the head.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking is they may have just animated the fake head for that final second so that it's not noticeable, but they did a real great fucking job doing it.
Great job.
What else has that guy been in?
I don't know.
I don't know. I was just thinking he's
in the Harry Potter movies.
The whole cast here. So Bill Skarsgård was originally in the running to play Hutter, Nicholas Holt's character.
Gotcha.
That would not
things
have looked
changed.
right.
The movie got delayed. Then he was in talks to play Harding, and then they cast Aaron Taylor Johnson. And Bill was like, "I want to be in this fucking movie." And Eggers is like, "I'm sorry, man. We already got these 2 guys." And he was like, "Well, who's playing Orlok?" And he was like, "We don't know yet. You want to play Orlok?" And he was like, "Yeah, I want to play Orlok." And they're like, "Okay." But originally, it was also supposed to be Harry Styles as Hutter, playing the Nicholas Hoult character, and Anya Taylor-Joy instead of Lily Rose Depp. And they both got recast because this was going to be Eggers' follow-up to The Witch.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And then he was like, "Oh, it's real fucking arrogant for me to make one movie and then be like, I'm remaking Nosferatu. So let me wait and do a few more movies first, and then I'll revisit this." Yeah. And so he put it on hold.
Smart guy, man. Smart guy.
Yeah, this would not be what it is if he didn't do that.
Exactly. What I also think is funny is I think Lily Rose Depp is the only main character who is not also in the MCU. Because Nicholas Hoult played Beast in the X-Men movies. Emma Corrin played the villain in the newest Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson played Quicksilver and Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah.
Ralph Ineson just got cast as Galactus in the Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, I forgot that he's playing Galactus. That's such good casting.
So sick.
And Willem Dafoe is the Green Goblin, obviously.
Right.
I just want to bring one thing up real quick because you mentioned Kraven. Apparently, Kraven is the first movie written by AI.
Really?
I believe it.
I didn't.
And there because there's one shot. It has the subtitles on it, and it says, "And then she died, and I never saw her again."
What the fuck?
Because the AI realizes that if you die, you'll never see them again.
It's fucking weird.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's pretty terrible.
Oh yeah, I heard it was absolutely god awful.
Are they open with that? If it's completely written by
know
AI?
if they're open with
No,
it.
I doubt it was completely written by AI, but
yeah.
Maybe
sure
it's
still not good
somewhere.
Maybe the writer is trying to get people to believe that.
That could be that.
I didn't write this.
I don't know why my name is on this. I had nothing to do with
it.
it. Clearly, it was written by a machine.
Oh, man.
Cut to footage of him writing it.
Yeah. Oops.
Right.
Oh man.
Cool.
I'm curious to what.
Are we doing the scores?
Oh,
I was about to say
Yeah.
I don't even have it up. I'm going to look that up
Dude,
right now.
slacking. Bud.
So it is 84% tomato meter, 73% audience score.
Huh? I thought it would be
The critics
opposite.
like it more than the audience. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's fucking weird.
I guess that makes
Um,
sense. Kind of.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. What
Well, because it does have all
No,
the
fuck
things
that.
critics
That's
look
stupid.
for. But also,
Well,
like,
yeah.
think about the response to it from the audience, and like half the people not
for sure.
understanding it, but
Yeah.
like the critics
And probably
are-
a lot of people not liking horror that watched it.
Yeah, that too. But like the critics are a modern critic, at least, is going into it looking for it being like the filmmaking stuff, and it's all the shit that they love.
Oh,
it
for
has
sure.
all that fucking
Yeah, for
nailed.
sure.
I know it was nominated for a bunch of shit. Did it win any Oscars?
I don't know.
No, I don't think it actually won. Or no, it won.
Best prosthetic dick.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So that was
forever in our
not
hearts.
nominated.
My Oscar.
Best cinematography, best costume design, best production design, and best makeup and hairstyling.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it won any of those.
No,
Yeah,
because
I don't think
makeup
so.
went to The Substance.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Oh yeah,
Nominated for 4. I think it was just nominated.
yeah.
Yeah, didn't win any of them.
It should have got a cinematography for sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't even
Yeah,
know what
I wanna
did
know
win
which-
cinematography.
No.
Good question.
So how long are you going to keep the stash now, Josh?
It's probably going away like tomorrow. I don't mind the look. What's funny is
Good
we
look.
were a cop drove by the other day with a big stash like this, and Kimmy was like, "Yeah, see, you know who tends to have mustaches? Cops. Do you want to look like a fucking cop?" And I was like, "No, also Johnny Ringo and like outlaws have Doc Holliday had a mustache. Like cool guys have them too. I don't want to look like a cop, but I also Nosferatu only drinks blood from the chests of his like victims and doesn't really care much about like comfort, I guess. I eat a lot of sandwiches, and when my mustache hangs in front of my mouth, it's not fun.
See, you're missing the utility of it. It's a flavor saver for the blood.
No.
Yeah. Right, yeah, I'm not drinking enough blood to take full advantage of that.
Right.
So
see, yeah, no, that makes
it'll
sense.
probably at least be getting trimmed.
I can't do mustache over the lip, dude. I'll fucking go into a panic attack.
I can't do it.
Yeah, it's killing me right now. It's driving me crazy. We had Subway for lunch, and every bite I was like,
Sandwiches.
but
I don't know how Sam
Sandwiches in
Elliott does it.
particular.
I don't know how Sam Elliott does it.
I don't either.
He has
It's
no
nuts.
lip, dude. It's all stash.
He has all lip. That's the problem.
Good mustache wax that I use to try to push it off my lip, but halfway through the day it starts to collapse again. So
I think the whole
I
problem is
remember
that
when I started.
all the
Please.
dudes that please mustaches. All the dudes.
He was
all
going
the
to talk about
dudes.
his stash too, dude.
yeah,
All the dudes that have giant badass mustaches, when they shave, you could see they just have so much lip that it shows hair without it having to go into the mouth.
Yeah. Can't do it. What were you gonna say, Derek?
Oh, when I first started to grow my beard, I didn't trim this stash for a while, and I remember just driving my wife crazy because every time we would talk, I would just like constantly be doing this while we would talk.
yeah.
And it's like the equivalent of a girl always like twirling her hair. So I was just like, as we're talking, I just do this the whole time.
Yeah.
I do that.
And she
Right
was
now,
like,
I
you
catch
gotta fucking
myself
stop.
twirling it again.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I can get it, if I can deal with it until it's long enough that I just put a bunch of product in it and part it down the middle and do the full like Sonic Robotnik.
Dude, you're
mustache
so
that
close
just
to
goes
the
straight
Snidely
to the
Whiplash,
sides.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it. You just, if you
Totally do it.
keep it growing for a
Bro,
little bit,
shave
dude.
your head and become Dr.
Yeah.
Robotnik.
It grows relatively quick. This might be the new routine where like I shave I do the mustache for a few days for a podcast episode or another stupid fucking Nosferatu sketch on TikTok because people seem to like those.
They're good sketches. They're good sketches.
And
Yeah,
then
good sketches.
and then I cut it off. I look like a distinguished gentleman. Kimmy's happy because I don't have this the handlebar thing going on. And then a month later, once it's grown to a certain length, I cut it back into a mustache. I do another sketch. I enjoy it for a couple days. And then it'll just be a nice little cycle.
get
Yeah,
my
exactly. Next time I take it to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Take it to Hawaii.
Just take the mustache around the world.
Yeah. That'll be good. Yeah. And anytime I visit a new location, I'll have to bring the stash, at least for the first couple of days.
I love that you were like, you know what? I think I'm probably just going to get rid of it. And now in the course of like 5 minutes, we've planned an entire life just for you focused around your mustache.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, everyone's got
excited.
goals Yeah, it's nice to
You
have
got mustache.
future plans. Yeah.
Mustaches and Dracula dick.
Well, there's the title.
That's this
Yeah.
episode. That's this episode. The Adventures of Josh's mustache.
Magical.
Magic
Magic
mustache.
mustaches.
Magical mustaches and Dracula dick.
And Dracula dick.
That's a good t-shirt.
I liked earlier
The SEO on that was gonna go
Hanging
crazy.
Dong in the Castle sounded
Yeah.
like a good name for an album.
Yeah.